So please, I kindly ask to Ms. Chara Georgopoulou, Senior Engineer and of the HIT Maritime Advisory Greece, DNV, to start her presentation. Hi, nice to meet you.
Thank you. Nice to see you all. Thank you for calling me in for this presentation. Give me a moment to share my screen and let's get started. Can you see? Excellent. Let's start. So, thank you for your time and for this slot today. I'm Chara Georgopoulou. I'm heading the Maritime Advisory team in Piraeus for DNV. And I'm also responsible for business development activities in the region. In DNV, we have been looking into new technologies for quite long. And we have been trying to understand the impact that these technologies would have into shipping. One of them, I'm pretty sure everybody has been listening to this kind of technology, is carbon capture. So very recently, we have completed a study together with TMS Tankers, a local Greek operator, owner and operator of tankers, about the implications that CCS technologies would have on board ships. So I'm going to go through all the elements of the study, and I would really love to have questions and follow-up discussions with any one of you, either via email or during this session. So, a new technology like carbon capture, if it is inserted on board the ship, it definitely requires a few things, like an example, power, like heat, or other different requirements in order to get operated. So the question that we had to resolve is what is going to be this impact if we have new technologies that we know very well and technologies, carbon capture technologies, which can do better, but we don't know them. So we needed to understand what is the impact on the onboard machinery, on the utilization of the engines, on the decarbonization potential of the system, so how much the CO2 can be reduced in practical and realistic terms, not ballpark figures, and also what is the commercial viability against other types of fuels. So in order to do this job, we created digital twins of the vessel without the technology and the vessel with the technology. And we compared these on a simulation basis. What is the benefit? The benefit is that we don't focus only on the system, but we see how the system interacts with all the rest of the systems on board the vessel. And therefore, we can quantify the machinery implications. So let me go through the details of the study. The operational profile was analyzed over an entire number of years, and we have defined exactly how much time the vessel spends in each and every operating mode. We modeled the carbon capture system, which requires, apart from space on board, it is requiring heat. It is a typical amine absorption system, which scrubs the exhaust gas stream, collects the CO2 into the liquid, and then the liquid is being regenerated in order to be reused, and the CO2 gas is liquefied and stored on board on a tank at the deck. So as you can imagine, the very first constraint that we needed to account for is the space on board the ship in order to place all these different components. The second very important constraint comes from the supply of the steam, which is necessary in order to regenerate the liquid flow and reuse the scrubbing water. The scrubbing water is not just water, it includes also an amine chemical agent. And finally, we need electricity, not only to pump all these liquid streams, but also to compensate for any exhaust gas pressure drop in order not to hinder the operation of the engine. And also, we need power in order to liquefy CO2 and store it on board. So as you can imagine, this is a problem, a machinery problem in first place. And the objective is to say, what are the resources on board? What we can optimally integrate in order to have the maximum CO2 capture. And this is what we did. This is the technology that I just described. So gas is being scrubbed, CO2 is being collected in the liquid and then released via heating as a CO2 gas to be liquefied on board and stored. So in order to integrate and improve the technology, the very first, the low-hanging fruit is to supply with extra heat from the best design of the boiler. If we speak about a new building, it is much, much easier to optimize the design. So we can do this analysis in the beginning, in the new building stage, and identify what is the right capacity of the components in order to be retrofitted for the CCS system all along the new building lifetime, the vessel lifetime. If we speak about a retrofit, so an existing vessel, which is the case of TMS, then the limitations are quite many. I mean, we already have a boiler, and the way that the boiler is operated and the constraints that the operation has are already there. So we need to account all these different details. This is what we did. And of course, many different technology enablers can help out and make sure that we have the right solution, but they affect the economics. So here we try to have the best economical solution in the case of the retrofit. In the new building stage, there are more freedoms, degrees of freedom. In terms of the CCS system, we focused on typical amines because as we speak, most of the pilots on board ships of this kind of technology are amine-based. There are quite some pilots that have illustrated either the capture on board or all along the value chain, the liquefaction, the disposal, etc. There are these kind of designs, there are these kind of pilots, and there are also improvements which are being suggested by many technology providers. As DNV, we are here to support, to understand the technologies and the impact of the machinery, to see the system level perspective. And we are here to support the collaboration between the different stakeholders, technology providers, shippers, etc. So in this context, we considered solvents of different capability, like of different heat demand, high heat demand, or even zero heat demands. And we created a few scenarios that we analyzed. The first scenario being a system as you have it right now, state-of-the-art amine-based solutions, which are actually conventional, no integration at all. How would this perform on board the ship? Second scenario was to optimize the heat system from the ship side. And third scenario is to optimize everything as a whole. And I wouldn't like to tire you with a lot of details, but it is extremely important to define the key performance criteria. First, the reduction of CO2 on a net basis, not only on the system. The fuel penalty, how much energy the system is going to consume, because these systems, like the sulfur scrubbers, consume energy, but not at the same order. And finally, the utilization of the systems on board. So how much the engines, the diesel generators would be loaded, because this is limited. And the operators do not want to operate all the engines, of course, during a voyage. So these are constraints that delimit our capacity to liquefy on board this CO2 stream. The first scenario, this is typical CCS system.
Ms. Georgopoulou, please, can you hear me? You have
Yes.
You have still 1 minute, please.
That's fine. That's fine. Sorry. The very first scenario achieved 11% reduction. The second scenario, with the integrations aboard the ship, achieved 28% reduction in net CO2 emissions. And finally, the scenario 3, which was the optimization of all the systems, took us to 38% CO2 reduction. So I think that, conscious of time, I'm just going to show you that if we account for all these scenarios and compare them against biofuels, with the existing cost of biofuels and an assumption on the CCS capex, which, I mean, it can be changed, right? We see that there is potential for the technology against other technologies and other systematics. So this is what I wanted to say, and to conclude with this single slide. And thank you. Please come back with questions, and I give the floor to you.
So thank you for your nice